Welcome to the Living Superhuman Fitness Podcast, where we take you inside our gym, CrossFit Palm Beach, each week. It's here that we are creating new superhumans every day, transforming people's lives, helping them reach a level of health they never knew possible. We strive to answer your most burning questions on fitness, health, nutrition, training, motivation, mindset, lifestyle, and more. If you have a question, please email us at info@crossfitpalmbeach.com. You can also learn more on our blog, livingsuperhuman.com. And if you have a moment, we'd love a review from you on iTunes. All right, it's time. Let's stop being average and start living superhuman. All right, guys, welcome to the first ever CrossFit Palm Beach Coaches Podcast. My name is Andrew Frezza. I'm one of the owners and coaches at CrossFit Palm Beach. And we're just going to start. We're just going to go around the table, introduce our coaches, and then we'll get into our first topic.
I'm Zach.
I'm Brendan.
And Coach Tony.
So we're all coaches here at CrossFit Palm Beach, and we get a ton of questions in the gym, and we're constantly going to certifications, seminars, reading books. We kind of have all this knowledge that we want to share with the members and answer some of those questions. So we figured what better way to do it than a podcast format, little round table. And if you guys have any questions you want to submit for the show, feel free to send them in, and we'll get started for this first one. So the first one that we want to talk about was a question we've been receiving a lot lately is, should I be doing extra workouts? We just recently added a Beach Fit program, and a lot of people are doing 2-a-days or asking if they should be doing 2-a-days. We have additional competitors training that is free to the members that they can do before or after class each day, and a lot of people are asking for more on top of that. One of the things we're hearing, we've heard over the years is, I need more. That's something we commonly hear from the members, and our initial response to that is really an assessment of that person to say, okay, do you need more? And maybe you don't need more, but really should you be asking the question of, are you pushing hard enough in the workouts you're already doing? So that's kind of where we're going to go with today, and just kind of talk about some stuff. So what are some things that you guys have seen in terms of intensity and volume as it relates to your CrossFit members here at Palm Beach?
Well, I'll take this one. Normally, when I see a lot of our members that come in, they are asking about, what else can I do? What additional can I add into the program? And I usually say to them, well, let's look at what we have for today. We have multiple parts, both strength, usually a skill associated with that, some sort of aerobic work. We always have extra stuff written for that to go before or after class. So, that's usually where I go. I say, is there enough already there? For most people, that's the case. They don't need extra stuff. And so that's usually my first response is, let's look at what we have for today, and let's see how that's going to work for you. Usually pushing a little bit harder in their workouts is usually the answer we come to, more than adding extra stuff into their workouts. And again, that varies with every athlete that we have.
I like to talk to them about their goals, to see if their goals are overall health, if it's for them to go to the CrossFit Games, if it's to do anything outside the gym, or whatever it is, to just have fun with their family. I think the miscommunication is doing way too much way too soon. And if your object is not to compete at the CrossFit Games, you don't need to be doing 5 sessions a day, trying to mimic Rich Froning's programming. His programming is a lot different than what everybody else should be doing. And got to assess where you are in your training, if you're a year in, 2 years in, wherever it is, and kind of, it's less is more in this sport. And so if you really focus on 1 hour a day of hitting it hard, that's going to be a lot more beneficial than 5 hours of just having your thumb up your butt.
Yeah, I think the barometer that we use with a lot of people is is the whiteboard. I mean, where do you show up on the whiteboard each day? And a lot of people that are asking for more, we're seeing that, yeah, their scores are good on the whiteboard, but there's still that extra 10 or 20% that they're not tapping into that they're missing out on. And I mean, a few of the benchmark workouts that we look at, like Fran and Grace, those are very short, intense workouts. I think Grace is a really simple example. It's 30 clean and jerks for time. And we see, if we look at our overall class, you're talking 3 to 5 minutes for most. And if you're in that 3-minute range, yeah, that's pretty good. And you can say, okay, yeah, I did well in Grace, I did it RX, I did it 3 minutes. But realistically, that workout can be done in a minute and a half. And to really hit that true intensity, to be able to shave 10 or 15 seconds off your time, I mean, that's a big deal. And if you're not doing that, and you're not cutting off those few extra seconds every time you do Grace, then you're missing out on some of that intensity component, right?
Yeah, I think a quote I always think back to that, I don't know who said it first or where it came from, but it says the program that works for you is the one that you believe in. And I think we'll probably hit back to that quote a lot as we go through these podcasts, but in this intensity versus volume aspect, I think people who believe in their program, they're going to allot the right amount of intensity to that workout. Right? If they don't believe in it, they're just going to go through the motions every day. But sometimes people will bring in outside programming. They'll say, hey, I got this squat program off the internet and I bought it. I'm going to try it out, but they paid the money for it. So you can see that they really devote the intensity to that volume that they're given.
The magic is it's not in the program, it's in the movements. And I think that a lot of people get caught up in the magical programming and having the best program from the best coach and the best country and the best shoes and whatever it is. And it's not really, there's nothing that's perfect about it. It's all about who you do it with and what your mentality is going through that workout. I mean, you can think you have the best program, but if you're not hitting it as hard as the best athletes, you're not going to be beating them. And so you got to have that mentality of trying to push each workout as if that's your only workout.
Yeah, I think and we're putting a lot of time and effort into the programming. So the effort's already been there from our side, so you don't have to. And as an athlete, your role is not to essentially judge the programming and to question it. It's to step in and give your best effort each and every day. And that, again, allows you to really tap in that extra intensity versus always focus on kind of being halfway in and then saying, okay, what's the other thing I need to be doing on top of this, rather than just going all into what's already in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times the volume that people are looking for is actually it's holding them back from having that same intensity in the technique work that they're doing the following day, or maybe it is they do something in the morning and then they are going to be doing some Olympic work with us later on in the day, and they just don't have that same nervous system response. They don't have that same fresh response to the work that we're doing, and that's really where they need to be focusing on, and less on the amount of work that they're doing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I think it's about making that one workout hurt a little bit, get a little uncomfortable. I think I hear that a lot, is getting out of breath and getting uncomfortable and pushing yourself to that absolute point of where you cannot push any harder. And if you do that in that one workout you're given a day, you're probably going to have a lot of success early on.
Yeah, and you might not realize it, but when you have 2 things on the schedule or 3 things on the schedule, you always reserve a little bit of that intensity on that first piece or that second piece. Like a lot of people, when we break down strength work in class and then we have the workout of the day, you'll see a lot of people that purposely reserve in the strength work so they can put a better score on the whiteboard in that regular part. And a lot of those people, their number one goal is to get stronger, and they're really hindering themselves by not giving them their all to that piece that's going to help them most, which is that, in that case, the strength work. So I think that comes up a lot.
And in that case, usually people are just furthering their strengths, right? They're not working on their weaknesses. They're saying, oh, we have a good cardio WOD coming up. Let me save some energy for that when I'm already good at cardio. So, it should be the other, as coaches, we want to see the other way around. We want to see you really put your time into that strength WOD because that's what you need. And then, not worry about fluffing up your score for that cardio portion you're already good at.
A great way to look at it is if you're in the open, if you compete the open and it's 5 weeks and there's one workout a week and that's the workout you're going into that week and you're like, I'm going to do really well in this workout and you absolutely put everything you got into it, that should be your daily regimen. That should be your mentality of going into each workout, and probably on 16.5 you are on the floor and gasping for air and moaning. Like, that should be some days that you're in the gym. You should be hitting that on the floor, breathing heavy days.
Yeah, we have a few really good athletes in our gym, and we were talking about the other day is we have great athletes that very rarely do you see them finish a workout and just have that just discomfort, and they're collapsing to the floor and they are sitting in front of the fan for 5 minutes and don't want to leave and can't put their equipment away and that. And maybe you can't do that every single day, but at least once or twice a week you should be really tapping into that to the point where you finish a workout and it's almost more uncomfortable to finish that workout and to like sit with your own skin for the next couple minutes, because you're just like, it's so, you've pushed yourself so beyond the limits, and when you're in that workout you're just in it, and then it ends and you actually feel it worse than when you were in that workout during it. And I think if you're not feeling that at least once or twice a week, and you can go through and look at the week and say, yeah, this is the one I'm going to give it all to, or usually we have some benchmark workouts mixed in, but I think it's helpful to really look at your week and say, yeah, I want to attack this one. I want this one to be a really good one, and not just because that's something you're strong at, as Tony mentioned, but because it's going to challenge you, and it's your chance to take that next step up as an athlete, something that's a little bit more challenging for you.
So Zach, you're probably the best athlete at this round table. How many times a week do you leave yourself just dying and out of breath? And
Every day I do. Every day that I have a major training day, I do. Maybe not so much, maybe a year and a half ago, but really now, every single day, because I've identified that as being what I'm lacking when I get to the season, which is the open. I think Brendan just had an awesome point a second ago, which was, feeling that feeling every day that you felt in the open. And I can honestly say I don't feel that enough in training. So now every day since the open, unless it's a major rest day or something like that, yeah, I'm gonna feel that feeling every day, because one, I need to physically adapt to that stuff, but then also it's a mental adaptation as well. It's being uncomfortable, or being comfortable with getting uncomfortable, as Fitzgerald says, right? It's the mental ability to keep pressing on to that stuff, and you can't get that any other way but experiencing it in the workout. And that's what makes training hard. That's what makes it difficult to do some of this stuff, but it's what also makes it so rewarding when it's over. You're like, man, I tackled that one again. Sometimes you don't think you can. And I think that's what makes CrossFit great for all of us, right? Every single athlete.
I think we should stop and debate who the best athlete is at the table. I think we should play dodgeball for it, actually. That's.
Oh!
I was won that tournament, he's kind of bragging a little bit.
Sorry I clapped in the mic, Mike.
So Tony touched on a point that I think we should hit on a little bit further, just to really point out to people, is that, for some people, doing more can be the answer. But one of the things that we see is that in CrossFit, you really want to have that mindset of going towards your weaknesses. If you can bring up that weakness, usually it's going to bring up not only just that weakness, but several things that are mediocre and even some of your strengths as well. And we tend to see those athletes gravitate to the place that they're already strong. They think it's weak because they look at a CrossFit athlete that's better than them in that area, but when they look at the people around them in the gym, it's certainly not a weakness for them, right? I mean, what are you guys seeing in that area?
Well, I think it's easy to do that just because it's our human tendency to go to things that are a little bit more comfortable for us. But I've had it said to me, and I think that would be the tip I would give most of our clients would be, be honest with yourself. Look at all of your scores, write them all down. Look at how you're performing in things in all areas, and then honestly assess what am I weak in. And then once you've identified what that is, you attack those things in the workout. You look at every day and you go, okay, I'm really not very good at deadlifting, and deadlifts are on Wednesday. All right, I'm going to do whatever I need to do, nutrition-wise, sleep-wise, so that when I come in here Wednesday morning, that is my best workout. And that's how you get better, is viciously attacking the things that you're not good at. And the more that I develop, I know the more that Brendan gets into this. I know we're all searching for the next thing that's going to take us to the level. By how I want to say this. We're pinpointing what we're not good at, and we're going right after that thing. And I think that's what you have to do. If you want to get better quickly, you've got to identify those things. And being honest with yourself is really difficult in CrossFit, because how things feel and how you're doing on the whiteboard are not always in line.
The days that you're probably looking forward to the least are probably the days that you should be attending the most. And so I know that I'm not very good at weightlifting, and so that I should be doing more weightlifting. So I'm going to hop in the classes, or I'm going to do some more weightlifting. That's going to make me better, because I'm pretty small and I'm good at gymnastics, but I need to be better at weightlifting. And so I may not like to do weightlifting, but I know it's going to make me a more well-rounded there you go, athlete. And I know Tony, for a while, he was frustrated with double unders for 10 months or whatever it was, but he would practice it and he'd get better, and now he's really good at double unders. So,
probably the best at this table.
Probably the best at this table? Oh, okay. And Andrew sucks at squatting,
Commercial
right?
break, double unders.
Grab the rope.
So yeah, speaking of, we were talking about more of an aerobic, intensity and picking yourself up off the floor. I don't think people devote enough attention to our technical stuff, right? It's like, should you be doing more? You haven't done Olympic lifts in 2 weeks. Yikes. If you want to be truly better than average, better than most, you want to be snatching clean and jerk every week, right? You want to be doing an extra set of squatting, because squatting comes up so much. And it's like, this is a sport, plain and simple. If you want to truly excel at your sport, there's athletes basketball, baseball players, they're giving 6 to 7 hours a day just doing one thing. When was the last time you did handstand push-ups? Think about that. So you need to, if you want to perfect the sport, you got to get more technical time as well.
Yeah, I think one of the major pitfalls is there's so many good things to be good at too. So I think that's why, one reason why people gravitate towards more volume is it's easy to see all the different things that you're not doing right now, but you really can't tackle all those things at once. CrossFit is essentially, it's a combination of 10 different sports. It's Olympic lifting, it's endurance training, it's speed training, powerlifting, it's all these different things, and most people dedicate their lives to one of those areas. So, you're in your first 1, 2, 3 years of CrossFit, you're still really a baby in all these areas, and you're better off, like what you mentioned, attacking some of those true weaknesses, because those are going to bring the other things up, rather than just sticking with stuff that you're already strong at.
And asking your coach about what are my weaknesses? What are my strengths and what are my weaknesses? I think a lot of our athletes need to know what those are, and they're not really sure what they are. They go, oh, well, I'm good at squatting, and I like this, or I hate the assault bike. Okay, well, you hate the assault bike, but compared to the numbers on today's competitor stuff, where are you compared to everybody? You actually did pretty good. So you should want to see that assault bike when we get into the workouts. And I think when you have that mentality, Metcons become different, and other things become that we do in here become different, because you're like, oh, I am actually pretty good at it. Yeah, you are. Let's keep developing that as well. So there's a lot to be found there if you really can identify where you're at, truly.
Yeah, I think that anybody who did the Open and you have 5 scores to go off of, you have some really good objective data that you can use, because you might not have thought you did well in the workout. Maybe it's a workout where you did only a few bar muscle ups in the bar muscle up workout, but then you look at where you ranked, and maybe that was your best score compared to the rest of the Southeast or the rest of the world. So yeah, that thing could get better, but maybe it's not your weakest area. And then what I would do is take what 2 or 3 weeks were the weakest scores in terms of where you ranked in the world, and then to say, okay, where did I break down in that workout? Was it, yeah, the deadlift was heavy, but was it aerobic fatigue or was it strength? What was it that really hurt me in that workout that prevented me from getting that really good score? And that'll give you a lot of really good information to go off of.
Sometimes your weaknesses may not even be specific movements. It might be you're not even flexible enough to do the movement. And so flexibility is a huge thing where, handstand push-ups, you're not flexible enough in your shoulders to get down the right area. You can't extend to the right area. So flexibility is your reason and cause for all of these weaknesses. And so maybe you need to focus on more flexibility to get better at all these movements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think we could all agree that we need a little more mobility in our lives.
Yes.
Never have enough mobility.
No.
Definitely not. So let's kind of wrap things up here. Just kind of a general hit back on that main topic. For your everyday member, should they be doing extra workouts? Should they be doing those 2-a-days? Or what's kind of the solution for people, for most people?
I think, and I know this isn't as direct as the answer should be, but I think it would be good, find a coach and talk to them about this question.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us. It wouldn't take that long of a conversation for us to identify where you're at. But I think for the most part, most of our athletes are at one workout a day. They need to come in and attack the one workout we have programmed. We have a warm-up, we have a strength and skill set, we have some sort of Metcon, we may even have additional mobility at the end or additional core strength training at the end. All things that it's going to take a full 60 minutes of your time, and if you follow us and stay diligent on what we're giving you and putting 100%, and when we say 100%, that's I think what we were talking about today is what is 100%. Be honest with yourself. If you give 100%, you're going to get results from that 60-minute workout a day. I think you're going to benefit more in the long run because you're not taking on so much of that volume early when that's meant for people who are a little bit further down the road.
Yeah, and you brought up, looking at the open workouts as a great point of reference is to point out your weakness. But every day you have the whiteboard. Every day you have something to give you feedback. If you just treat it right and you don't try to number fluff and maybe up your round by 1 or 2 because you forgot, if you honestly look at your whiteboard scores relatively to other athletes, I think you get a true look at your weaknesses and attack them.
The honest answer that I give people is no, they don't need an extra session. If your name's not at the top of the whiteboard at the end of the day for maybe a week, 5 days of classes, you probably don't need one. You probably just need to hit your session harder, hit your class harder, and work your way up that leaderboard at the whiteboard and see where you are.
All right, awesome. Let's wrap it up.
All right, guys.